What is going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome. First off, it is Friday, April 15th, 2022. Make sure when y'all come into this room that y'all hit the like button, share the stream on your various social media platforms, let people know that we are live. We are in the third week of the month, third week of five. Because remember, this month has 5 Fridays. It's crazy. But make sure when y'all come in here, y'all share and y'all like. I don't know if YouTube send out the notification or what have you. That's out of my control. Currently, it is nobody right here, right now here, but I'm sure people will start piling in eventually. So please go ahead and share this for those who are coming in. I would definitely greatly appreciate it. What's going on, Spidey and Darlene? First two people here. If y'all have not done so already, please make sure y'all go ahead and share this. What's going on, Amara? Tia, what's going on? I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everyone had a good week. I did. The weather is phenomenal. Spring is officially in the air. The weather has been consistently nice this entire week. I think with the exception of one day where it was raining. But other than that, it's been nice. And I'm very appreciative of that. Let's see, who else do we have here? Tawana, what's going on? Janesta, how are you doing? Let's see. Joseph Washington, Brother Mark, how are y'all doing? Hope y'all are doing great. Going to wait for a couple more minutes. I usually start at 5:10. Wait for more people to come in, so I don't want people to miss anything, or at least miss the first few topics that I will be discussing. This might be a short stream today because I don't have much to talk about. It's not a lot that I have to discuss uh, this week. Darling, you said you're on vacation this week. Well, shout out to you and being on vacation. I hope that wherever you are at or whatever you're doing on your vacation, even if you're not going anywhere, that you're just relaxing, just kicking back, and just having you some me time or family time. So also, what's up from the great crazy state of Florida? I don't know how y'all deal with it down there, especially with Ron the Snowflake, as I like to call him, as your governor. Dee, what's going on? How many of y'all are ready? Damn, Uber trying to send me some notification. Sorry about that. How's is everybody ready to pay Queen Iris on Monday or by Monday if you haven't done so already? Because I had to do the adulting thing yesterday and I had to pay Queen Iris. And it's no fun, but you got to do it. No refund for me this year, but the person who does my taxes, who is actually my uncle, and shout out to him, you know, when it comes to quarterly payments, you just got to be on top of it. And I learned my lesson yesterday. Let's just put it that way. But luckily for me, I'm good with my finances, so it wasn't like a huge hit. So I'm still kind of good, but still, it's like you don't want to give out more than what you want, but you have to. But now that I know how the quarterly payments work officially going forward, I'm gonna be good, and hopefully, if I do really good, I can get a refund next year, no matter how big or small a refund may be. Let's see, Vulcan, Joseph, what's going on? Didi said I just filed my taxes today. Cool. I can't remember the last time I got a refund. It's been a couple years. It's been a couple years since I got a refund. And most of the stuff that I owe came from the money that I make off of AdSense, which of course is attached to YouTube. Letitia, what's going on? But yeah, it is what it is. Spidey said, "Are you looking forward to Multiverse of Madness in 3 weeks?" Yes, I am, especially since it comes out the week of my birthday. And as y'all already know, I will be in LA for the week of my birthday. And that's coming up, so I'm very excited about that. That time is literally winding down. It's like it seemed like yesterday I was just booking the trip, which was back in October, and here I am just merely like almost 3 weeks away, because it'll be 3 weeks officially on Sunday, because I leave on the 1st, which is the first Sunday of May. My birthday's on the 4th, and Multiverse of Madness comes out on the 5th. So it's like it's gonna be a pretty packed week for me, and I cannot wait for that. Joseph said your video on that new California bill was truly eye-opening. Yeah, it was. California has a lot of issues. I think California is like the Florida of the West Coast. I truly believe that at this point. What's going on, Pinky JYB? So he says when you 1099 ain't hardly a refund. You're right about that. You owe more than you will receive, and if you do receive any type of a refund, that means you did pretty damn good that year. DSA, what's going on? Amar says, yeah, you're going to be, yes, I'm really going to be in LA. This is going to be my first time going out to the West Coast. The furthest out west I've ever gone to in my life as far as travel was Dallas, Texas. And that was back in the 90s when I was, it was my spring break. That was the furthest out west I've ever been. Now, when it comes to the East Coast, I've been all up and down the East Coast. The furthest up east I've been was like Niagara Falls. The furthest down East Coast, of course, was Florida. So I've been throughout the entire, I think I've been through every state on the East Coast, whether I was going through the state or I was staying there. So, yeah, LA will be the furthest out west I will have ever gone, coming, this year in a couple more weeks, and I cannot wait. Let's see. Spidey, you said you're seeing Cat Williams next week. That should be dope. Let us know how it was. J. Cage, what's going on? Vulcan said, I still haven't seen More Beauty yet. Don't see it. That's my take on it. If you see my review, you know I really didn't care for the movie. But you know what? I'm not going to say don't see it, because you might like it. I just didn't care for it. To me, it was a disappointment. To me. Afro Elite, what's going on? Jay, B1 brothers and sisters. Amar said, maybe we can meet up. Possibly. JK said, hold up, B-Dub, what's going on? JK said Moon Knight is okay. I actually kind of like Moon Knight. I know some people are saying it's moving kind of slow and everything like that, and especially since it's a limited series. And I think it's because like it's a new character a lot of people don't know about, so the expectations weren't even that high for a lot of people. And because this is only a limited series, he's most likely, the next time we see him after his series is done, is going to be in a movie for sure. Let's see who else is in here. Brother Mark said the last time I've been to California and Las Vegas was back in the summer of 2003. I haven't been, believe it or not, I haven't even been to Vegas yet. It's a good chance that I'll be going soon. I just don't want to say when, but it's a possibility that I'll probably be going soon. UG and Beck said I'm getting my workout in the LA Fitness. Unfortunately, I did not go to the gym today. I was too tired to get up and go, but so I'm going to make up for that tomorrow and do my 2 miles on the treadmill on a 3.5 incline. No, just 3.5 miles walking, which is more like a power walk than anything. Tildar said Will Smith is still in syndication as Fresh Prince in the New Bel Air, so I'm happy he hasn't been completely canceled. Yeah, they're not going to. I'm feeling they're not going to do that, because they would lose a lot of money on that. And the thing is, Fresh Prince has been in syndication since the 90s. Like, he's been getting residual checks off of that show for probably over 2 decades. I can't think of a time when that show was not on the air, even after it was canceled. That's to probably be one of the most heavily syndicated television shows ever. And then, Bel Air is coming back for a season 2. Like, they already got a 2-season order before the show even premiered on Peacock back in February. So they was already locked in for 2 seasons. But we just got to see how the second season is, to see if they can get a third one. Light Visions, what's going on? Brother Mars said now Chris Rock wants to fight. I didn't hear about Chris Rock saying he wanted to fight him. I heard about his brother saying he wanted to fight him. And see, here's the thing. The thing that's getting me about Tony Rock is that, yes, we understand that you want to defend your brother and you should want to defend him because, you know, that's family. But something tells me that he's doing this for attention for himself, because nobody was checking for Tony Rock before this. People still ain't checking for Tony Rock while this is going on. So I think Tony Rock is doing this to bring attention to himself, because nobody has been checking for Tony Rock for years. The last time he was in something consistent was in that show All of Us that used to come on UPN back in the day with him, Dwayne Martin, and Lisa Ray, and what's her name, Kimberly Elise. No, Elise Neal, I'm sorry. And by the way, that show was actually produced by Will Smith. So he actually knows Will Smith personally. But I just think that he's just seeking attention because his career is pretty much stalled. That's pretty much my take on it. Spidey said, "Is Bel Air really that good?" I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I actually meant to do a video, because y'all know I did a video with my first impressions of the show. I meant to do a video talking about what I thought of the season as a whole. I still might actually do it. I should have did it a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately I forgot. But I think out of all the characters on the show, the one that had the best character arc, in my opinion, was the Carlson character. Like how he started off in the first season, like in the beginning of the season, versus how he ended up at the end of the first season, was a complete 180. And I actually like the 180-degree direction that it took. If those of you who watched the show know what I'm talking about. And speaking of shows, and I'm going to say this before I get started, shout out, I don't know anybody in here watches the show Atlanta, but shout out to Donald Glover for the most recent, not the most recent episode, the episode from 2 weeks ago, not the one that came on last night, but the episode that came on last week, I should say. Shout out to him for actually having the nerve to do an episode on that topic. I feel like I'll spoil it for those who watch the show who may not have watched the episode, or people who haven't watched the show but maybe want to watch the show. But let's just say he touched on a topic that we have been talking about over here for such a while now, and that was the topic of reparations. And I like how they did it. I like that was a very interesting take that he did, which lets you know that people like himself are watching these spaces and watching these conversations be had for him to even put together an episode like that. And I'm going to just leave it right there. That was a very good episode, and I like the direction that they took it in, because they could have went anywhere with that. But I like how they did it. So you say you've been missing the season. Yeah, definitely check it out. They started off the season pretty heavy with the first episode. But they, you know, for those who watch Atlanta, y'all know, if you know, you know. But that episode about the reparations was very good. I did not expect Donald Glover to touch on that topic, and the way that he went about it was like really, really good. Like I can see myself watching that episode over and over and over again. Like imagine if that played out in real life the way that it played out in that episode. But even if you don't watch the show, watch that episode. It's season 3, episode 3. And the name of the episode is called The Big Payback. And the title of the episode fits the theme perfectly. But with that being said, let me go ahead, because I need to pull up my phone so I can look at the chat as I go and talk, because unfortunately, I don't have like the dual screen or whatever. So hold on right quick. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and officially get started. Crystal Chen said, did it top the Don Lemon parody episode? I think so. And it's crazy because the show's been on hiatus for like a couple years now, way longer than it should have. And they're literally knocking it out the park with every episode so far. Like I don't think there was a bad episode so far this season, and they're on episode 4, which came on last night. Like they touch on a lot of things. Like they touched on the Devontae Hart, they touched on blackface, they touched on reparations, and people like the people. How can I put it? People, I think it's like people who are like those passive aggressive type of people who claim that they're one thing, but underneath the veil there's something else. Like they're literally hitting on some topics right now that actually make you think, while having a somewhat of a comedic tone to it, mainly due to the Darius character who's played by Lakeith Stanfield. But it's the season so far is like fire right now, and I can't wait for episode 5, which of course comes on next Thursday. But that being said, let me go ahead and share the screen. Let me turn the audio on just in case there's any video that has to be played, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is Dwayne Haskins. Before I get into it, let me offer my condolences to Dwayne Haskins' family, his friends, associate, his team, the people he worked with, his wife. I don't know if he had any children, but I do know he was married. And Dwayne Haskins, unfortunately lost his life in a very bad car accident on Sunday, this past Sunday. I was trying to debate if I was going to do this as a video or wait until today, like I'm doing right now, to talk about this. But he ended up getting hit by, I think, a truck. I think he got hit by a truck, because some people said a car, some people said a truck. But he did get hit by a dump truck when he was in Florida at the training camp. And he was basically crossing a 4-lane highway. I, for one, will never, ever take that risk. I don't care if I'm sober. I would never take the risk of crossing a 4-lane highway to get to the other side. But that's what he did. And it was at I think it was like 6 in the morning. So it was real early in the morning, crossing a 4-lane highway. And he ended up getting hit by a dump truck. And listen, I couldn't even imagine what that sight might have looked like. You got to think 6 a.m. in the morning, it's still relatively dark. So, most people think that if something comes out of anywhere crossing the highway at that time, it's probably a deer, not a human being. So they probably didn't even know that it was him, or a human being for that matter. And he ended up getting hit by the truck, and he ended up dying. And he was only 24 years old. And he actually was playing with what is now known as the Washington Commanders, but at the time it was still the Redskins. He was playing with what's now known as the Washington Commanders. Then he got traded to the Steelers, and he was down in Florida for the training camp for the upcoming NFL season. But yeah, RIP to him and condolences to his family. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you had this palm-colored old bastard by the name of Gil Brandt, who decided that he was going to flex his tongue and say this very disparaging thing about Dwayne Haskins right after news hit of him dying in that tragic accident. This reminds me of when you had them white feminists come out about Kobe Bryant, bringing up what happened with that white chick back in the day with that whole allegation, and saying, well, it's sad that he died in a helicopter crash, but let's not forget that this guy was accused of raping someone. Like, who are you to bring that up? So now you have this Gil Brandt who decided that he was going to say something on Sirius XM NFL radio. And these are the quotes. It says, these are the 3 main comments from Gil Brandt. He was a guy that was living to be dead. It's always something with Haskins. Maybe if he stayed in school a year, he wouldn't do silly things like jogging on a highway. Who the hell are you to say something like that for a man that just died? The man wasn't even probably scraped off the damn highway before he said this shit. And of course, people went at his neck as they properly should have. But it wasn't too long after that he got on Twitter and apologized for what he said. He said, this morning, while learning of Dwayne Haskins' passing, I reacted carelessly and insensitively on a radio interview. I want to apologize to Mr. Haskins' family and anyone who heard my poor choice of words, which was damn near everyone. I truly apologize. My heart goes out to his family at this difficult time. Talking to Grumman said, what's up, Torian? Some people on social media are saying that Gil didn't know what he was saying because he was 90 years old, and you know who's trying to. Of course they are. And it's funny you say that because this comes up right here in the article. It says, why not just ignore what Brandt said, but his comments aren't just the ramblings of someone who is 90 years old and should be and will likely be fired. I don't give a damn if the man was 190 years old. Who are you to say something like that about someone who just lost their life? Like, Imagine if his family didn't even know what was going on with him, and the first things that they heard was what he said coming out of his mouth. Now, notice he made sure that he said these ill things about a black man. What if this was Tom Brady? What if this was Aaron Rodgers? Or before he retired, Peyton Manning, or Eli Manning, or Brett Favre, or any of those other white football players? Would he have said that? I want to know if Gil Brandt had anything to say about it, any of them being deceased. I wonder if Gil Brandt had anything to say about white players who were caught up in controversy, because there's plenty of controversy to go around with them. Probably not. So I don't care about his age, and they always try to use that age thing with old white men. Have y'all noticed that? Whenever old white men do something, they always try to play the age thing. Well, what about Bill Cosby? Oh, I forgot. He is old. That's one thing that they have in common. He is up there, but he's not white. They try to do the same thing with what's his name? Ed Buck. And by the way, my Ed Buck update video about his sentencing, that's coming tomorrow. So be prepared to hear what I have to say about that. They try to use the same thing with him. Oh, he's 67 years old and we're going to sentence him to 30 years in prison. Those of you who watch Professor Black Truth already know what he got sentenced to. So it's not really so much of a spoiler, unless you knew beforehand. We're going to sentence him to 30 years in prison, but I don't know, he might be too old. Fuck that. I don't care how old he is. He knew exactly what he was saying. And I actually heard the audio. I was trying to find it, but I heard the audio of what Gil Brandt said. He meant every word he said. So he can keep this apology and shove it up his ass. And I didn't hear any reports of them saying that Dwayne Haskins was jogging on the highway. All I heard was that he was trying to cross to the other side. How is that jogging? Unless you are running across the street to get to the other side, I don't call that jogging, because everybody, when people are trying to get across the street, a lot of times they'll either walk fast or run across the street. Jogging would imply that he was running down the lanes, jogging. Because like I said, I heard the audio. He didn't hesitate or mince any of the words that he said. He meant what the fuck he said. What's going on, Shar? So they can miss me with that. If I was Dwayne's family, I would be suing him for defamation of character because he made insults about him. And I bet you Gil Brandt wouldn't have the balls, should he be able to find them, to say this to Dwayne Haskins to his face if he was alive. But yeah, they love to use the old man thing on white men and white men only. Again, privilege confirmed. But yeah, RIP to Dwayne Haskins, condolences to his family, and fuck Gil Brandt. Now and until the day he is in the ground. Now let's shift gears a little bit. Now, this story I'm about to bring to you right here, I could not believe it when I heard it. I laughed so hard when I heard about this story, and I asked myself, or asked people, is this real? And it turns out it is. And some of you may or may have not heard it. If Dee is in the chat, she may have heard about it because she lives in Texas. And if anybody who lives in Texas, shout out to Texas. Is this story right here. Look at this headline. Man beats roommate with a stick over what a mosquito looks like. How in the hell did that even come up as a conversation? I want to know. Who is randomly, besides this guy and his roommate, having a conversation about what a goddamn mosquito looks like? All you got to do, if you want to know what a mosquito looks like and you're not sure, just go to Google and type in mosquito. And there you go. It says Dallas police arrested Victor Simone Shavers, age 43. Now look at that. He's 43 years of age with a roommate, and they're arguing over what a fucking mosquito, a bug, looks like. Come on now. For allegedly beating his roommate with a stick after they argued about what a mosquito looks like. The two had lived together for 2 months in the 1500 block of Cape Cod Drive in Oak Cliff. According to an arrest warrant, officers found Shavers' roommate standing outside with blood all over his face in the early morning hours of April 4th. He told them Shavers had assaulted him. Police found Shavers inside the home sitting on his bed with blood on his head and hand, according to the affidavit. It was then the victim explained to police how a discussion about what a mosquito looks like escalated into a fight. The roommate said Shavers grabbed a stick from behind his bed and started hitting him on the head with it, according to the affidavit. He said Shavers hit him at least 6 times. The roommate then grabbed the metal bat from his closet and hit Shavers multiple times in the head. Police said he had deep cuts on his left cheek and side of his head and required multiple stitches. Shavers had a cut on the back of his head and possibly a broken hand. Shavers admitted he hit his roommate first, according to the affidavit, and he was charged with aggravated assault and family violence. Now, watch this. This is the one that hit the guy with his roommate with a stick over what a damn mosquito looks like. This is him. This is Victor. This is the guy that did it. When I found out it was first off, when I heard this story, I said, this is absolutely ridiculous. But when I found out it was a black guy, I said, get the fuck out of here. This is crazy. This is wild. You are too damn old to be arguing over what a mosquito looks like. How old? This is something that kids would argue over. And I don't know any kids that are out here arguing over what a bug looks like. It's a damn bug. We just know that they're a nuisance. And they deserve to be outside, where they, amongst nature. We know they can get in your house, but still, an argument over what a mosquito looks like led to assault, and now he's locked up with charges to his name and a cut to the back of his head and a broken hand. Y'all, we are only in the second quarter of 2022. We got 3 more to go. This is what it has come to, y'all. I told y'all when I heard about this story, I could not stop laughing. Just like how y'all are in this chat, I could not contain my laughter because I thought this was fake until I, went on Google and looked it up and saw that it was indeed real. Tia said, please tell me at least drugs was involved. It didn't report anything about any drugs. If there were drugs, then I could understand. But if this was a complete and sober conversation where there was no drugs, there was no alcohol involved, how in the hell did this even become a conversation? Like, that would be my first question. If I was his attorney, my first question would be, how in the hell did this become a conversation? That's my first question to him. Before we go any further than that, how did we get here? Because I don't know any grown person, man or woman, arguing that leads to a fight or an assault over what a bug looks like. Could you imagine being a fly on the wall? Shoot, if I was a fly on the wall in there, they probably would have pointed my ass out and said, see, that's what a mosquito looks like. And I'm just a goddamn fly. But imagine if you're a fly on the wall and you had to hear that. You probably be looking at them like, huh? Weirdos out here. That's all I got to say. Some damn weirdos. Let's move on to the next one. Now, we all know about Christian Smalls and what he did, the historical feat that he made when it came to Amazon and, the union and everything like that. Well, we kind of knew what was about to happen next. And Amazon said, we're not going down without a fight. And what is Amazon prepared to do? They said they are fighting to overturn the union's historic win at the New York warehouse. How, not so shocking. We knew that they were going to do this because they don't want to take a loss, especially since it was a black man. And to be honest, I think it was black men, not just Christian Smalls, that led the charge when it came to this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and read the article that's coming from The Guardian and see what they're talking about. Amazon is seeking to overturn a historic union victory at a New York City warehouse, arguing an illegal filing union organizers and the National Labor Relations Board acted in a way that tainted the results. The e-commerce giant wants to redo the election. Amazon listed 25 objections in the filing on Friday, accusing the Amazon labor union of intimidating workers to vote for the union, a claim an attorney representing the group called patently absurd. The employees have spoken. Eric Milner, the attorney, said in a statement, after Amazon's initial plan objections were made public in another legal filing. Amazon is choosing to ignore that and instead engage in stalling tactics to avoid the inevitable, coming to the bargaining table and negotiating for a contract on behalf of the workers, he said. Warehouse workers in Staten Island cast 2,654 votes, or about 55%, in favor of a union on behalf of the workers. In favor of a union, enough support to pull off a victory last week. In one objection, Amazon said organizers intentionally created hostile confrontations in front of eligible voters by interrupting the mandatory meetings it held to persuade its employees to reject the union drive. Well, maybe if y'all didn't have hostile working environments, they wouldn't have to resort to alleged hostile confrontations. And this is just alleged. This is just what they're saying to try to get things to work in their favor. In a filing, the company disclosed it spent about $4.2 million last year on labor consultants. In another objection, Amazon targeted organizers' distribution of cannabis to workers, saying the labor board cannot condone such a practice as a legitimate method of obtaining support for a labor organization. New York legalized the recreational use of marijuana last year for those over 21. Milner, the attorney representing the union, said Amazon is grasping at straws, and they definitely are. Distributing cannabis is no different than distributing free t-shirts, and it certainly did not act to interfere with the election, he said. The company also accused organizers of improperly polling workers. The retailer has signaled it planned to challenge the election results because of a lawsuit the NLRB filed in March, in which the board sought to force Amazon to reinstate a fired employee who was involved in the union drive. The company pointed to the lawsuit in one of its objections filed on Friday, saying the regional NLRB office that brought the suit failed to protect the integrity and neutrality of its procedures and had created an impression of support for the union by seeking reinstatement for the former employee, Gerald Bryson. I'm not going to read the rest of it because you pretty much understand where it's headed. It's a pretty lengthy article. But yeah, I knew they were going to try to do that because they don't want to lose. They see this as a huge loss for them. And they're going to do anything that they can to try to overturn it. And what they're also scared of is that the guy, Christian Smalls, has been requested by other Amazon warehouses around the nation to come and try to help them form a union. And they're afraid that it's going to take on a life of its own. And now I'm hearing that, he's being interviewed on different not social media, but different media platforms about what he did. Amazon, they said they're not going to lay down quietly with this. And they probably, and Christian Smalls and the people he's working with or working with him, most likely already knew this. They knew it was about to come. I'm trying to see why the chat's not moving. It's like I just read a half an article and I don't really see anybody talking, unless y'all were just listening. Because it says I have 40 people in here. But yeah, I knew that Amazon was going to try to, pull something like this. It was predictable. But I definitely truly hope that Christian Smalls has some security around him, because he's definitely going to need it. He's up against a giant. Well, he kind of beat the giant if you really think about it, but the fight is nowhere near over. Okay, I see y'all comments now because y'all was listening. Cool. Y'all didn't want to miss anything. Well, that's a good thing. But yeah, we'll stay on top of this. Like I said, the fight is far from over when it comes to this. Let's go to the next story. Do y'all remember months ago when Kirk Franklin, that audio had got released that he was snapping, and I do mean snapping, on his son, Kerrion Franklin? The one that he's estranged from, the one that they really don't have a relationship with each other. Well, Kerrion is in the news right now, and it's not looking too good for him right now, because apparently Kerrion Franklin was driving around in this car that belonged to that of a now deceased woman. And when I heard that, I was like, huh? What the hell is going on here? So we're going to figure this out together. It says details continue to surface surrounding the Sunday, April 10th arrest of gospel singer Kirk Franklin's estranged son, Kerrion Franklin, in Los Angeles. As previously reported, the Bad Boys Los Angeles star was pulled over last weekend and is being held without bond after he was spotted driving a car that reportedly belonged to a missing woman who was presumed dead. However, the reality star claims he is being framed. In a jailhouse phone interview with blogger Larry Reed of Larry Reed Live, the 34-year-old maintained that someone was setting him up after Beverly Hills police reportedly found a firearm in the vehicle Kerrion was in when he was pulled over. Things have just been happening around me, feeling like I'm being set up, feeling like people are trying to catch me doing wrong, the Zeus Network star said. After I was already booked in jail, they're trying to put extra gun charges on me. Over the past year, I've had multiple vehicles. I'm a producer, filmmaker. I just love entertainment, but it comes with a lot. Kerrion expressed feelings of being manipulated and misused, telling Reed, I'm not out here getting in trouble or to be around the wrong people who are out here trying to get me framed for the wrongdoings as well. When asked about his case, the television star denied owning the firearm allegedly found in the car. He said he was stopped for a faulty taillight. However, the detention also appears to stem from charges filed in Texas, but the young man believes those came only after officers accused him of resisting arrest, noting that one of the two charges was already resolved. As for the car, Kerrion said he had the vehicle for over a year, and this was the first time he had heard anything about a missing person. I mean, the car is registered. I've been stopped before. Nobody said anything about a murder or anything, he explained before adding, this is the first time I've ever heard about this, so I'm just keeping my mind positive. According to multiple reports, the missing woman is presumed deceased, but Kerrion doesn't appear convinced, claiming, I don't think that's true. I've met the woman who sold me the car, so whoever sold me the car was alive, and her boyfriend, her husband, sold it to me. Fans are familiar with Kerrion, who made multiple red carpet appearances with his famous father when he was just a little boy. Last March, he made headlines when he leaked a profanity-laced conversation between him and his father. During his interview, the son clarified, my father is not in my life, period. So I got a question, for the chat. What do y'all make of this? Do y'all think that, he has something extra going on that he's not saying? Or do you think that he's actually being set up like he claims? Let me read some of these comments. Light Vision says, now this dude claims he borrowed a car for a whole year. Jennifer says, for those who think gospel music has gone too far. Vulcan said, yeah, Kirk Franklin's son has been wilding out. Joseph said, Kerrion needs the rod right about now. Well, based on his lifestyle, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I could, but I'm going to hold back. Light Vision said, and then said that her boyfriend sold the car to him. He needs to be honest. It says the Bible says, honor your father and your mother for a reason. Looks like chickens coming home to roost. Yeah, because he definitely had a lot to say about his dad last year. Light said he also said he's been fixing the car for a year and he was trying to fix the tail light that morning. He got stopped. Crystal said, yes, he has something extra going on. I don't know what to really make of the story, but like I said, I don't really follow, like a lot of entertainment stuff like that unless I can relate it back to a message that I'm trying to get out there. So it's like I'm kind of like looking at this like, I guess you have to let him deal with it. So I don't know really what to make of this story, but it just doesn't look good for him right now. Crystal said, I think his dad was protecting him, but now he is not. Spidey said, I don't know what to think. Pinky said this might be karma for him. Light says, Torian, how anybody let you borrow a car for a year and you not know there was a gun in the car? Right, because you got to inspect your car. You always got to check your car. You got to check your glove box, check under the hood, and the trunk, everywhere. Like, imagine you just driving around with a firearm for a whole year and you didn't know. That just looks like irresponsibility on your part. And you a whole grown man. Oh, Jennifer just had to go there. I told you I was trying to hold back. But Jennifer just had to, she just had to go there with the comment. Isaiah said something is fishy. Yeah, something is not right. And it's like, I feel like I feel like he's not telling the entire story. I feel like there's more to this story, like way more. But now that he's burnt that bridge with his dad, the one person who could probably try to help him probably won't help him. That's why you got to be careful of you burning bridges, because you never know who bridge you burn. It might be the bridge that you need. And him putting that audio out there last year of his dad, that wasn't a good look on his part. And they tried to make Kirk Franklin seem like he was a bad parent. Even reaching back saying, about Kirk Franklin and his porn addiction. I mean, that's not alleged. We all knew about that. I'm like, why are you bringing that up? Like, that has nothing to do with what's going on with him and his son. But okay, if you needed a talking point, I guess. But that's why you got to be careful about what you do and what you say, because you just never know. Exactly, Jennifer. She said the one person that can give him the best lawyers he can't go to. Right. But then again, he might, I don't know. He said he has all these endeavors, so he might have some money. But like you said, the best lawyers. You can have a lot of money, but you can still get a janky lawyer. So I see what you mean when you say that. All right, we about to head into the last story of the day. Like I told you, this was going to be a short stream. We literally will probably be done with the stream before 6 o'clock, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And y'all know we had to talk about it. We know we had to talk about it, and that's about what happened in Brooklyn. Before I go any further, do I have any New Yorkers right now in this chat? Put a 1 in the chat if you are from the state of New York, preferably in the city though, or if you live in one of the 5 boroughs. Put it in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you live in New York or from New York. Okay, I see Pinky JYB Didi. It says 1. Okay, I'm guessing it's just those 2. Spidey says, yeah. Okay. Okay, it said 1 born. Okay. So we all know about what happened, or it's still a developing story. That's why I didn't leap out there to do a video about it, because I knew it was going to be more stuff to come out when it comes to something like this. I don't like to hop onto, like I always say, I always like to wait until we find out or get a reveal of who the person is, because I've made mistakes in the past where I jump out the window with certain stories and I can get it wrong. And good thing I waited, because so much other things have come out about this situation since it happened, and it was just a few days ago. So you had a man by the name of, and I'm trying to see if I don't know if they put his picture in here. I'm trying to see if they put a picture in here, but I don't see it. This is one thing I hate about going on USA Today, because a lot of times they don't put the pictures up here like they should. Let me see something. Hold on. Maybe I can find something in here. Oh, there it is. Cool. Maybe it was just loading. So we had this the shooting that happened in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn train station a few days ago. Oh, it said April 13th. No, that's when he was captured. And this guy right here, who you see, and shout out to Harvey, because he did a video about him, and he revealed that this guy did videos on YouTube under the name Prophet of Thought. I believe he said that's what he said. Because I don't think I've ever seen his face, but the name sounded so familiar. But anyway, he went into a train station in Brooklyn. He set off some smoke grenades, which basically skews the vision of anybody down there. Like, you can't see anything, like on some Batman shit. Like when they said he dropped smoke bombs or smoke grenades, Batman was the first thing I thought of when I saw that. And he then just started firing off on people. And then he left out of there and was just casually walking around like he just did not commit a shooting. Now, one thing that was fishy to me about this was finding out that the train station in which he committed the shooting at had no working surveillance cameras. None. None of the cameras in this train station worked. So if it wasn't for a witness being able to kind of identify him at that point, they would not. It probably would have took them longer to try to figure out that it was him. Because when it comes to mass shooting, let's be real here. Most of the times, it's PC men, males, if they're they're a minor age. When it comes, what happens like this, because when we had the DC sniper back in 02, people just knew that it was two white guys in a white box truck, but it turned out to be two black males in a blue Caprice. So one can slip in there every now and then, but that does not mean that they are the majority. It's just the exception. So he went down there and he did his thing, came back up and was casually walking around. And I think he went to some kind of a food spot. I think it was called Cats or something like that. And he went there and he just casually was just walking around, like he just did not do what he did. It was just like a regular day in the neighborhood for him. Prophet, okay. I'm just looking at the chat. Prophet of Truth. Thank you, Crystal and Spidey. I'm just carrying on. I'm not even looking at the chat. Yeah, Prophet of Truth. That's his name. That was the name he went by on YouTube. Thank you. I thought it was Prophet of Thought. And anyway, thanks to the descriptions that was given, he ended up being captured like the next day. I think they got him the next day. They say he didn't resist. He didn't fight or anything like that. They just arrested him and took him in. Now, some people are saying, okay, something just seems off about this because this guy just started firing off on people and not one person died. Now, granted, people were injured because I saw the pictures and it looked like a scene out of an action movie, possibly. And they were just laid there on the floor. And as far as I know, we don't have any motive as to why he did it, unless I missed something or someone can put in the chat about what the possible motive of why he did it. DSM said Tariq talked about this on Wednesday night on his stream. Plenty of suspicion and red flags in the story. It's a lot. It definitely is. It is a lot more to it than what, of course, mainstream media is putting out there. Like Vicious said, he's prior military. They're going to give him a mental evaluation. Okay, well, let's see if the mental illness card plays there. And I'm glad you said that because that leads into a tweet that I posted. I said, are they going to give him the mental illness card the same way that they like to give all these PC shooters? Because they be passing them things out like they candy on Halloween. But I said somewhere in the world, Will Smith was probably a little bit jovial, not because of what happened, because the heat kind of came off of him. Because notice they kept bringing up the incident all the time, and then this happens, and then that's all they focused on. And I said to myself that watch, something is going to happen, and they're going to shift gears, and that's exactly what happened with this story in this situation right here. DSM said, and he left his credit cards there at the scene of the crime. Who leaves their credit cards? Exactly. That was weird to me. Why would you leave your calling? What is it, a calling card? What did you think, you were the Joker? Every time you kill a body, you put the Joker card on the body? What was that? What was the point of you leaving your credit cards there? It's like he wanted to be found. I mean, yeah, they can definitely find you now. He might as well left his whole damn wallet in that case. If he was going to do all of that. But yeah, this is still like an ongoing developing story. They're gonna be talking about this for a little bit. I think that he, they said that he is facing terrorism charges, which I kind of knew because this does fall under the guise of domestic terrorism. I'm just being honest. That is domestic terrorism. So if they charge him with that, I wouldn't be surprised. All I'm gonna say is this: he get found guilty of what he did, he gonna be in jail for a very, very, very long time. They probably not going to put him into a mental institution. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is an ongoing story. So who knows exactly where else the story is going to go. but I'm sure many people are going to be following it and all different stuff like that. And one thing I wanted to mention before I end the stream, because I have one more thing that I wanted to, well, actually 2 more things. Hold on. One, I will be back on this channel next week. Next Friday, I know I go back and forth between the live streams on this channel and the main channel, but I will be back on this channel next week to go live because, like I said, it's 5 Fridays this month. And if I'm doing my Freestyle Friday at the end of the month, then I can't do it next week. So I will be back going live on this channel next week. And then, of course, the week after, on that Friday after, I'll be going live doing the Freestyle Friday over there. And the other thing I wanted to mention is Hannah Payne. That bitch is finally going to trial. The trial for Hannah Payne is finally happening, and it kicks off Monday, the 18th. Y'all know I've been talking about her on my channel for a while now, but then I had to stop talking about her because, you know, they stopped talking about it. She was supposed to have her trial kick off in 2020, but we know what happened in 2020, so it got pushed back. So Hannah Payne's trial will be getting started on April 18th. So I'm going to try to keep a watchful eye on that to see what the outcome of that particular trial, because it's been over 2 years and you never heard anything about it. So she will definitely be going on trial starting this upcoming Monday. The Hannah Payne trial will start on Monday, and we're going to see what that bitch gets. And I hope they throw the book at her ass. But I'm not holding my breath, because after all, this is a white woman right here who claims that she was doing a good thing, and she ended up killing this elder black man for no reason. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to everybody who liked and shared. If you subscribed, welcome. Of course, we'll be back at it again tomorrow on the main channel with 3 videos. Y'all, of course, will find out what those 3 videos will be about in the community post. Shout out to all the members that's on it. I need to go and check to see how many members I have right now on the main channel. But y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this weather, because it is beautiful outside. It is nice. This is my type of weather right here. Team spring, baby. And Tauruses, it's crazy. The next time I go live, the Taurus line will officially have started. Best sign, I'm just saying. With that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.